Hello all, welcome back. In this video, we will discuss about dynamic stored procedure to load data from stage table to main table in data migration process. And this stored procedure is going to be a dynamic one. So it will work irrespective of the table that you will feed in as an argument to this procedure. As we discussed, when we lift and shift the data from on-prem to the cloud, stored procedure plays a key role. We will deep dive stored procedure in today's session. We'll go through the code and how I build the code. In this session, we are going to learn creation of dynamic stored procedure, calling one stored procedure from another, constructing dynamic SQL statements within the stored procedure, familiar with some of the Snowflake built-in function. Also look into the some metadata tables. We will understand how to create a framework to move the data from stage to the main table. This stored procedure will satisfy following the requirements. The first one is it will accept source and target table names as an input arguments or input parameters. So if you pass some source table name which is not available in the staging schema, then it will throw an error, and vice versa. If you pass table name which is not available in target, then also the stored procedure should throw an error, and that error should be logged into the log table. We are going to maintain some log table where all the activities that happens through the stored procedure will be stored. Okay, so when moving the data from stage to main table, so first attempt it needs to do the bulk insert. When it comes to the lift and shift, majority of the times, right? So the data, we just need to move the data from on-prem to Snowflake. So same data, whatever it is, there won't be any architectural changes in general, at least first when we are doing the lift and shift. There is a huge data in the stage table, so we'll try first the bulk insert and see if as it is data can be inserted into the main table, so that it will save the time. Only when there is if bulk insert fails, then only we need to loop through one after another record and load it. In real time, there might be scenarios where we just need to try the bulk insert, and then if it fails, then we might need to let the source team know that there is an issue with the data that has been sent from the source on-prem system. Source team might correct it and send the data back to us. Or there could be scenarios where there is an expectation that if there is any that kind of bad data is coming, so ignore that and only load the proper data. So later runs, they might fix it and send the data to us. So that depends upon how they want, but I wanted to address both the scenarios here. So I kept that as one of the requirement for the stored procedure. And next one is, as I mentioned, the bad records needs to be skipped and good records needs to be stored to the main table. However, when the bad record comes, we need to capture that information and why that record got failed. Those information should be logged into the error log table. Errors and exceptions should be handled properly. And errors and exceptions should be captured into the log table as well. So these are the requirements. I would say this might not be the complete and holistic solution to load the data. There might be here and there changes might require, and that depends upon the requirement to requirement basis. We might need to extend it, but my whole idea here is to give the high level flow. The approach that I am going to follow to achieve this is, first we will write one stored procedure to capture the logs, and then we will write another stored procedure to do the individual inserts, and these two will be called into the another main stored procedure, where in the main stored procedure first we'll try to do the bulk insert. If it fails, we'll call the individual uh, insertion procedure, and during either in the main procedure process or the individual procedure process, if in case of anything that I need to log into the log table, then this stored procedure, the log stored procedure, will be called in this process. So first it will try the bulk insert. If it is success, then well and good. It will just log the starting and ending messages into the log table and then ends the process. Suppose if bulk insert fails, then it will try individual inserts. And in individual inserts, for example, there are 10 records into the stage table. So first record, if it is successful, um, then uh, then it will go to the next record and continue until all the 10 records are inserted into the main table. Suppose if any one of the record failed, yes, then captures the log information and go to the next record and continue until that. So at the end of the process, any bad record will be captured in the log, any good record will be loaded into the target main table, and then the process will come out. So this is how it is going to happen. So first let's see how these tables has been created in the stage and main schema. So if you see here, size of the employee first name is 15 characters, but here it is max. Okay, so that's the difference. All the differences has been highlighted here. So these are the two tables that I am going to use for this demo purpose. Okay, let's see the data in these two tables in staging. So when I query this one, you can see that there are 17 records available in employee table in staging schema, and in EMP table I have again 17 but with the different data. mm, right? So when it comes to main table, I don't have any data yet, and I don't have any data yet here in the EMP table as well. So when I execute this procedure um, for the employee table, okay, it is successful, and in the log, if you see, employee load happened from source to target table. Names has been given. It started and ended, and you can see that records might have already inserted here, 17 records from stage employee to the main employee. Okay, so now let's see for the second table, employee table, nothing is there in the main table. Then when I pause that here, you see that because both tables are having 17 records only, but this is taking more time because this is going to the individual insert. Okay, so individual insert always will take time. So based on the requirement only, we need to go for it. So when you see the log employee load, what it is saying is bulk insert is failed with the error. I captured only the first error, and then um, we will try to the individual insert, and then when individual insert is happening, row number 7 is having more than 15 characters, and so 1 to 6 already inserted, 7th record got errored out, and 8 9 10 inserted, 11 got errored out, 12th record got errored out, 15 16 17 record got errored out. So total 1 2 3 4 5 6 records got errored out. So now in the main EMP table, we should have only the 11 records here among the 17. So you can see the 11 records, and all the data has been loaded properly for the good records, and the bad records we just captured the log. And so as I mentioned, we are going to write a small stored procedure to capture the log. So the proc name is pro log details, and it will take process name table name and error message and input arguments, and it returns varchar as the return value. We need to define the return value at the definition of the stored procedure, but it might not mandatory to return something within the body of the procedure. So I'm not returning anything, but if any exception occurs, then I'm raising that exception to whatever the arguments that we will pass to it. It will take it and insert into the error log details table. Here I'm using a sequence. I have created a sequence with the same name of the table underscore seq with the one increment value. So that will go to the sequence number, and then process name is coming as an input argument and table name is going here, and whatever the error message that will capture will come to here. Structure of the error log table, you can see the first one is sequence number, generated sequence number is going, which is from the sequence, and then the log time is from the current timestamp. The simple stored procedure. Okay, let's see few select statements. So these are the select statements that these are the queries that are useful to build the stored procedure. So we'll go through them and try to understand how these things works. So here is the information schema view, which consists all the columns associated to the table. If I execute this, it will display the columns associated to the table that has been passed here. And I'm maintaining the order, sequence order by using the order by. There is another function called list aggregate. What it will do is it will convert the column values into a list with the given the delimit. So you can see that all the columns, the list is prepared for all the columns. But however, this sequence of the columns that has mentioned here is not the same as the definition of the table columns. So to maintain the same sequence, I'm going with the window function within group order by the ordinal position column I am using to order by even after the list preparation. So if I go here, so you can see that now the sequence of the columns is exactly the same as the definition of the table. So it matches here. Let's see the next query. Here what I'm doing is one column I'm selecting all the list of columns. Another column I am doing some case statement even before calling the list aggregate function. If the data type of that column is date, I'm applying the string to concatenate the column. So let me execute this, and you will understand what I'm doing here. So if I execute this one, so you will get two columns. One is the column list like this. Another column is you will have all the columns, but if it is column is number data type, then you have a try to number function within that column will be mentioned. Even you can see here precision and scale is also I'm using it. So what this try to number function will do is whatever the input is coming from the staging for this column, it will try to convert to the number. If it can convert to the number, then it will convert and use this precision and scale to round it or right to while inserting. If that is not able to convert, then instead of throwing an exception, it will return null value. Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is even when I'm inserting records individually, I'm trying to see if this is the issue with the case conversion from the stage to main table. I'm trying to fix it here and insert the records. Okay, so this again depends upon based on what is our requirement? Do we really need to do that, or just simply try to insert as it is, how it is there in the stage table, and insert into the main? If it is throwing an error, log error and proceed with the good records, or you try an attempt to do the conversion of the case from the stage to main. If it can fix the issue, then you fix it and load it. So that attempt also I'm trying to do here when I'm writing the insert procedure on record basis. Okay, so hope you understand the select statements. I'm going to write my stored procedure based on these concepts only. I'm going to give label each and every record with the row number, so that I can I can loop through the records and insert one after another. Okay. For that, I'm using the select statement like this, using row number window function and giving the row number as a virtual column name as R, alias column name R. And if I execute this one, for all the records, 17 records that we have, we are giving the row number for each record, so that I can loop through these records for 1, 2, 3 to 10 in the for loop, and create the capture the one after another record and process it. For that, I'm doing this. You will understand when I walk through you the actual procedure. Let's go back to there. In this procedure, I'm passing source and target table names as a parameters, and selecting the column list as explained earlier from the data dictionary view. Okay, and I'm building the insert statement here. And here I'm passing insert into target table. Schema I'm hard coding though, and target table. Within the columns list, I'm using the original column list. But in the select statement, I am using this try to date concatenated fields from using the virtual inline query to assign the row number here. And in the where class, I'm using the parameter here. Question mark in the Snowflake is the parameter. So whatever the value you will pass, that record only should select, because our main thing is we wanted to loop through one after another record. So that's the reason I'm doing like this. Okay, so now I constructed the query. And also one more thing, what I'm doing is there is another information schema view that is a tables, where you will have um, the row count of each table. So I'm capturing that row count for the source table that we passed as a argument. So that row count I'm storing into the variable here. So now I have the number of records available in the table, and I have a query which can use it for each record. So now I'm writing a for loop here, and for I in 1 to total number of records on the table of the source, right? I'm looping through each and every one. This I is the value of that will be passed to the query here, the query that I constructed for this argument, for this parameter. Okay, so when the for loop executes, it started from the 1 and continues till the total number of records available in the source table, and loops each and every record. Here I'm passing the increment value 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to this where class for the row number that we labeled, and it will take one after another record, and then we are doing the execute immediate. It tries to insert to the main table. Okay. Now, if at all, if any one of the record, when you are looping through and one record successful, another record, it has some issue, right? So then it throws an exception and goes to here. And here I'm capturing which row number that error, that record got errored out when you are doing the insert. And that information I am passing to this procedure call within the exception block. Okay, so that will go and call this. So until everything is done, one after another record will be executed and then loop will come out. Okay, so this is how the individual stored procedure works. Please go through it. Let's go to the main stored procedure where we will try to do the bulk insert. A bulk insert is nothing but just trying select start from source table, insert into target table, just direct select statement. And then what you are doing is you are in your first step, you are calling log details and saying that process started and then and in progress. This is just to log the to know that the procedure started here. And then what I'm doing here is whatever the source is passed as an input parameter, I'm going and checking whether that source is available or not. If source is available, okay, maybe you can put upper statement as well here, right? Let's do that. Okay, if source is available, then that name again will be captured into the variable here. And similar like that, if target is available, target name that we passed is available, that will be captured into this variable. Okay, and here I'm doing if else statement. If source is null, that means it is not there in the database. Then I am calling the log procedure and making an entry that source table is not available. If it is a target is null, then same thing we are doing here. Okay, and if source and target both are available, then I'm executing the bulk insert, which is nothing but a simple select statement that we constructed at the declaration of the stored procedure. So it will execute and it will try to insert, it will try to execute all the records at a time. And if any of them errored out, any one of them errored out during the process, the exception will rise and it will go to the when other exception, and then it will log an entry here. Okay, here what I'm doing is message. If message is failed, that means bulk insert is failed for that. So I'm calling the individual procedure here. Okay, so when the bulk insert executes, if it fails, then it will say bulk insert failed with the error. And what is that error? And we will try individual insert. That message will be logged into this table through this procedure, pro log details procedure. And then here, if it failed, bulk insert is failed, we are calling individual procedure, which will try to load one after another record. And any errors during this process will be captured again and loaded into the log table. And at the end, if everything is successful, then we'll say that success completed, and then we'll return the success. Yeah, that's all for this video. That's how these three stored procedures work together and do the job. Please go through it and let me know any questions. Please subscribe my channel for more videos and let me know any topic that we can go through it and discuss or do a new video on it. Thank you.